keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs. These are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
Boom! What is going on, everybody? This is Jeremy Turgeon from Brassman Reptiles.
And I'm Rob, and I'm keeping it real.
Hey, we're back for another week of fun shenanigan-ness with a fun shenanigan lover this week.
I'm about it.
I'm super excited. I feel like it's also a great change of pace from the consistent, we've been posting a lot of stuff about USARK and it's overall fairly negative. So I'm happy that we're bringing somebody on that's genuinely a pretty positive person. I don't know if he's as positive as Rob, because Rob's usually like 99.99% positive. But he's pretty damn close.
Look, I told Kristen that he is the nicest person I've ever met, and he's way nicer than me, so.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't want to drag this on any further. So without further ado, welcome everybody, Brian Kusko.
The man, the myth, the legend.
That's a lot to live up to all of a sudden. I'm not feeling very positive today, man.
See, Rob, you do win.
Yeah, easily. It's been a rough little couple. But I've been around. I love that. Been around from around the block and around the world. I've been around the block a couple times at this point. Been around the world a couple times, and I usually stay pretty positive about it. But I'm not gonna cry. I already cried once today. I'm over it. No, I was watching this documentary on Folsom Prison, which was I'm not gonna say it's a mistake to have done it. It was intentional to watch, but I got 25 minutes in, and I was like, I just grabbed my wife and buried my face in her shoulder for a moment and just let it go, which is what was happening on the documentary as well. So it was I was feeling it. I was really feeling it. But let's keep it positive. Let's not talk about prison and crying. We want to bring this up after all this negativity with USARK. Prison, crying.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna do a slow elevation into positive world. So we have to start, from the bottom. So I guess that's okay. If you mess up and USARK doesn't get things passed or removed from pass, then you go to prison, and you don't want that. So
that is what would happen.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, it's not fair, but
it's not fair.
Accurate.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, nobody wants to become. Yeah, that's the other thing that had me stressed out. Like just the thought of, because I've been a criminal, and I don't want to ever be a criminal again. And for the legislation to potentially make that happen based on what I'm doing right now, that's not criminal activity, for it to magically become criminal activity overnight that'd be a real bummer, man. That would really ruin my day.
Oh man.
But luckily there's been lots of people doing lots of good work. I mean, yourself included, obviously, Jeremy. I was super stoked yesterday to see Brian and Phil on the same screen talking, because I don't think it's been, I don't know if that's ever happened, first of all. And there was a time when it seemed like that would never happen, just because how much flack was Brian was catching at one point, just his name, he couldn't work with USARK because they didn't want it to tarnish their name.
Right.
So it was nice to see that. That made my heart very happy.
Yeah, I was happy when we were all able to make that come together. It took it was a couple of weeks of just making sure that everybody was obviously available, number one. But I was hoping that there wouldn't be any problems. Because I remember all that flack and nonsense, and how that wasn't really a thing that could happen. Not that long ago either.
No, it was like couple few years.
Yeah. So I was really happy to make all of that happen, and it was really, really well received, which is great. So I'm happy.
Yeah, when I saw your thumbnail, I was like, "Oh, is that happening? Sweet."
Yes. Yeah, no, that was great. So yeah, shout out to all those guys that jumped on there, Phil and Brian and Mason, because that was quite wonderful.
Prison and tears aside, I'm feeling pretty positive about that. Like, there's been a large rally. I know that, emotions were high at one point. I made a video talking about it, like how it was getting me down, how people seem to be going after each other, and the shaming within the hobby that was happening with, when emotions get high, and the things that were potentially going to be turned into criminals because of legislation that wasn't there before. But now, I'm based on like all the activity that seems to have taken place, I'm feeling pretty positive about it, man. I think that at this, I don't think it stands a chance with that. Everybody that's been rallying around USARC and the message, and all the people I've seen contacting their senators, and people who have their family members and friends who aren't even part of the hobby contacting their senators. Like, I feel like there's a big noise being made, and I'm feeling like it's headed in the right. I don't see that legislation. I don't see that little part that amendment that's attached to that huge bill staying in there when it comes time. I just don't. I don't see it staying. So, and I think that if we continue what we've been doing, and everybody keeps rallying, and everybody keeps making the noise, and rallying together around USARC, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm
Feel
hoping
strong
so,
about
man.
that.
It's very scary. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me specifically being like, "Hey, like I don't exactly understand every little bit of this. Is there any way you can give me like the lowdown of what's going on?" And I think that's kind of how a lot of these kind of regulations hope that they're perceived, is that people have a hard time just understanding them, and so they're not going to fight it because it's just too hard to understand. It's just like, why is that allowed? That should not be allowed. Like,
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, legal speak is definitely not my strong point. A lot, I read legal documents, I'm like, what is this Greek? But that one, at least I can understand a bit.
Q-57 of section 3.
Yeah, the number, but especially when they start like, we're going to remove this part from some other thing that's over here. These two words will come out. These two words will go in. But what I was able to pull away from it is that it was a pretty broad and pretty broad is the right word, I think, but there's another word I'm looking for, which is vague. Like, it was vague enough to where it'd be very open to interpretation of whatever politician or whatever judge or whoever happens to be reading that law. It could be very widely interpreted, which is, I think, is the most dangerous thing about it, is that it could be read in such a wide, like, actually, according to how I'm reading this, you're fucked.
Yeah, dude. The county that I'm in right now, I'm in Orange County, North Carolina. They actually have a regulation on the books that if your pet bites someone, then it has to be put down. And it's not specified just like cat or dog. So, like, if you have a corn snake and it bites someone, it's got to get put down based on the law. And it's like, what? What? So it's like, I don't even want to have like people over my place because it's just like too risky,
Here was a little positive thing that was just the night before last. I had a snake laying a clutch of eggs, and I had a bunch of neighborhood kids over with their parents to watch the clutch pulling, and we did a little video on it and everything. And that was great, because they'd never seen anything like that before, and they're all getting to check it out and like touch the eggs and have a nice hands-on experience. And the reason I think about that is you talk about these corn, if my corn snake bites somebody, I have two corn snakes, and one of them bites. And I told them all that. I was like, well, but the funny thing, it only bites Noah. It only bites my oldest son. It's never been anybody else, but it's bit him like 5 times. So yeah, if you had to put down every snake that bit, I mean, that's a lot, especially if you include their baby years.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. But like, I'm pretty pumped because I have a few snakes that have just ovulated now, and I'm like excited to incubate some eggs again and hatch out some babies again. But Kristen has never experienced anything like that, so she's like, "Oh, I'm excited to just see some little baby snakes hatching out." And I'm like, "It doesn't get old. Like, it'll never get old. The day that it becomes like not exciting anymore is the day that I quit. Like, I'm done because it's just amazing to watch these little snakes come out of the eggs."
It is, dude. I was just thinking about that like the night before even before those kids came over like a few nights ago. I knew I had a clutch that just hatched, and I knew I had more eggs coming. I was just thinking about the days when I was, in elementary school, looking at these books and seeing like black and white pictures of somebody hatching corn snakes, seeing them come out and being, and I remember in my mind, I've said this before, I still feel that way when I was a kid. I was like, wow, this is like scientists and stuff. They have snakes and they're hatching them out, and it's like, wow, that's like way above my pay grade. And like in my little kid mind, it's like that'll always be above. I'm like, oh, the scientist stuff. That seems too hard to grasp it. But,
and it's funny because most scientists can't breed snakes. They just know the taxonomic tree that goes back to it, and they could not ever breed a snake if they tried.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a scientist in that book that I was looking at when I think back. It's probably somebody in their
it was the
basement.
Scientist's friend.
Yeah,
all the snakes.
That's another thing I love about this hobby, man, is the wide range of folks that are involved in it, from scientists to just us musician type or enthusiast types, and how those walls get broken down very often within the hobby. Like, we get to make friends with these guys that are, PhDs and like top of their field, and just hang out and, have a beer, or just the blending of society that happens within the hobby is one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a massive level of diversity, and I mean, anybody that's been to a reptile show definitely gets a glimpse of that. But yeah, Rob, it can be pretty diverse.
I mean, yeah, just look at Rob, dude.
Well, I was gonna say that was one of my favorite parts about like working at Nerd, was like you had Kevin, who very much was like the stereotypical like old school snake keeper guy, and then you've got Rob, who like fits the bill with the gauged ears and the tattoos, and then here I am, like former teacher, like, hey guys, what's up? I like snakes. Like
ball pythons, ball pythons.
That video will still never be old, ever.
I love it. I love it.
That was fun. That was so much fun to get to come see you guys out there. I'm glad that I made it at that time, because obviously you guys aren't there anymore, and that was a crucial time to have been able to make it, because I wanted to go out for a while. Like, ever since I got that book, I was like, oh man, how cool it would be to like meet these guys, and because especially since right after I got the book I'm talking about, the big old thick ball python book that Kevin wrote with the geneticist lady. It was shortly after reading that book that I found myself standing in Lindy Johnson's driveway, talking to him about this, like literally like within a couple months of having picked up the book. Like, next thing I know, I'm in Lindy's driveway, and we're talking. And so I was like, wow, this is crazy. I was just reading about this guy in a book, and now here I am standing at his house. And so it was in my, it was obviously my radar to like, and then watching Kevin's videos and being a musician metalhead myself, to a certain degree, just being like, oh, how cool is these guys there, and then like jam guitar and like, and then to actually make it happen was to make it happen at the time it did when you guys were still there, because I mean, you guys are huge.
Nah, we're not.
Yeah,
we're not
I mean the
huge.
vibe. I mean, we're all average size, I guess. But Rob's a little taller, skinnier than me. Jeremy, you're maybe a little shorter, but
yeah. Maybe a little chubbier too. But
no, but it was just so fun. I'm glad that I made it there while you guys still were there, because that was a crucial point in my life, I feel.
Yeah, that was
yeah, dude, it was so cool. I was just looking through some of the old pictures on my phone, and I saw some pictures from that day, and like when you were hanging out with Janet, and like and then when he was hanging with that lace monitor, I took it on my back, and he's sitting there just like petting it. Man, that was a good time.
That was very robot-y, but I still picked up the main gist of it, which was, the moment with Janet and the moment with the lace monitor was, it was awesome. Like that thing was, that girl was, I almost went, I couldn't afford it at that moment at the least, but I was like, in my head, I was thinking like, how can I make this work? How can I bring this lizard home with me? Right. And then the moment with Janet too, like it's such a cool, like the way she was like cruising down here. That's actually my profile pic on everything. I think all the different platforms I have that I use that pic with Janet on my head is the profile pic because it just came out so nicely when Tara took that picture.
Yeah, that is a great photo. Rob is now, for anybody who's on the audio only version later, Rob was just a spinning ball of death for a few seconds, and now he has vanished. So
Yeah, I mean, if you couldn't tell by the way his voice, when he started becoming the Terminator again, he got sucked back out by the Matrix. Somebody pulled his plug.
I realized that I wasn't on the Wi-Fi and I was just on my wireless.
Ah, damn.
That's what I'm on back here, because if I go on the Wi-Fi way back here, I'll get pulled out of the Matrix too.
Yeah. Oh man. So, Kusko, do you have any exciting things that you're breeding this year?
I mean, for me, yeah. For Ryan McVeigh, no, not so much.
Well, it's a good thing that man isn't here. So discuss.
I mean, there's some pretty stellar clutches that just hit the ground. One of them a sunset clutch. I mean, I've hatched the full potential of that particular sunset clutch before, but I still get no less excited about it because I still think it's one of the best looking ball pythons to hatch out. And I've got this clown clutch this season that is just mind blowing. I could ramble off all the genetics involved in the pairing, and I will. It's we have the potential for a baby to come out being a Enchi red stripe GHI spot nose yellow belly pinstripe extreme gene clown.
Oh yeah, that's up my alley. I like that.
Those are some cool balls, sir.
Some cool balls, and I love the patterns. I love everything about ball pythons, dude. That's basically. I'm trying to think of something to make myself a liar on the spot. But I'm like kids, like all those kids that came over the other day when we were pulling the clutch, like, you know, I could easily hand them all ball pythons and not even worry about it. You know what I mean? Especially the ones that I've raised, and they're just bulletproof for kid interactivity, even in a crowded little snake room with little holes everywhere to go, because I know the snake's basically going to chill with them. It's great. And then they get super excited, and then even the parents are like, whoa, what is this? You know, looking at the pied like, what like, I didn't know snakes could look like this.
Do you remember the first time you saw a pied?
Yeah, I do.
What was your thought when you saw that? Because the first time I saw one, I was like, somebody painted that. That's
Photoshop. Yeah.
Not even Photoshop, because Photoshop wasn't a thing. I was just like, someone painted it.
I thought, I want that now. It became like part of my mission in life. Was like, I want that, and I will. Yes, it's like when Wayne, you know, walks by the guitar shop and Excalibur's up there, you know, the guitar, and he's just like, oh no, sorry, I'm totally mixing up how he felt about Cassandra with how he feels about the guitar. No, I think it was both, right? It was he had that feeling toward. I'm remembering it wrong. It's been decades since I've seen the movie, but I feel like it was the same moment with the guitar as it was with the girl, which was, oh yes, it will be mine. And for her, she, not it. Don't get offended.
Yeah, dude. I have not owned a pied, but one day I will. They're finally to the point where like you can buy one. It's not unreasonable to buy one.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? It was too unreasonable at the time. Like, I went down to my old stomping grounds where I got my first snakes when I was a kid, and to get my first ball python at the ripe age of 32 or whatever it was, and I couldn't afford a pied, but I wanted one really bad.
Yeah.
The fact that you can get them for like $300, $400 now is insane.
I mean, if you think about the fact that the first ones went for like 125K or whatever, yeah, that's pretty. Those are some wild numbers and that right there, I guess, anybody that is still doubting the way that supply and demand works. I mean, that's like one of the most prominent examples. We've got 2, or we've got 200,000. What's it cost?
For real.
I don't know that
Yep.
there's 200,000. I just pulled that number out of my butthole, but
I mean, there
sometimes
could be. There could be 200,000 at Wilbanks's place alone.
You know, one of the bummers sometimes is that I think about what I'm saying, and it bums me out sometimes that I have to do that, or that it even happens anymore. You know what I mean? Like I was like, do I with mid sentence I was like, do I say ass, butt? Let's add the whole. Oh, somebody's gonna hate that.
Oh man, they'll survive. They'll be okay.
I know.
They'll be okay.
But if I have to hear about it later, then I'm like, I mean,
Listen, if
my
you
point-
hear
there's
about
this-
it later, you tell those guys that you know a guy that'll take care of all their problems.
It was just one of the last videos I put out, which was the one where like most of the feedback was like, "Oh man, thank you for like saying this, and thank you for like being so awesome, and you know being so positive, and really working to like bring everybody together. It's a beautiful thing. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful." I'm super disappointed in this video because of that one word you said. That one word out of that whole half hour of verbal diarrhea. There was one word that really disappoints me.
Yep, and they're gonna make a comment about it.
And
Disappointed them a
You know
lot.
It's okay. I get it. Everybody's at a different place in life at a different time. I'm sure
Yeah.
at some point I'll be in a place where I feel like I need to make a comment like that on somebody else's video. I have, maybe. I don't know.
I think that might be a goal for me now, to make a YouTube video where I do something where like Brian's just got a comment and like, I'm disappointed in this.
I'm so disappointed in you sharing me.
What would you have to do?
Barcheck and Phil together, you're ruining the hobby.
I'm sure there are people who are saying that because they just can't help themselves. But
Yeah, literally. I'm honestly, I'm thankful, but I'm honestly surprised within the first 24 hours now that there has not been a, why is Barcheck on this? He's ruining the hobby. I'm amazed I haven't gotten one of those comments, and I'm incredibly grateful. I don't certainly want that at all, because then I'll lose my ever living mind. But
It's kind of a hard pressed issue to push this. I mean, if you just go by like maybe a thumbnail, or the thing is that somebody's always gonna disagree with somebody else's tactics, no matter what it is. Like,
right.
that's just this just is what it is. Some tactics are very effective, some are less effective, some make more people cringe than others. I mean, it just is what it is. But if you look at what the guy's been doing the past couple of years, if the overall positive effect he's having on the hobby isn't what you take away, then you weren't really paying attention too closely to what's actually happening over there. I mean, as somebody who's been over there a couple times now since then, and just watching what actually happens on the videos, and not just going off of how the thumbnail makes me feel or whatever, and like seeing the amount of positive effect that he's taking snakes and reptiles and changing the minds of people who beforehand could care less about snakes or literally hated them. I mean, he's changing it in such a big way.
And reaching an audience that's larger than any of us could ever imagine.
Yeah, and Emily and Ed over at Snake Discovery too. They're doing huge with that too. It seems to me they're reaching a big audience. Clint, and the more people that get involved. My big hope, or my big point the other night on the video, is that hopefully everybody just keeps doing this and keeps getting bigger and bigger to the point where the keeping of reptiles gets a lot closer, or any steps closer to having reptile keeping and reptile pets being close to as normal as having dogs and cats as pets, is going to be a win for what we're doing, I think. And the more I see that happen, then great.
yeah, I think that we've come such a long way from when I was a kid and keeping reptiles to now, because like literally I meet like regular people, and they're like, oh, like they see a snake on my shirt, they're like, oh, such and such, oh, you have snakes, and they ask me, oh yeah, I've got some snakes, blah blah blah. And they almost always, if they don't have a reptile, one of their close friends does. A bearded dragon, a leopard gecko, a ball python. And it's not something like, back when I was a kid, no one had snakes. Like very few people I ever met had snakes as pets. And like if someone did, it was like the big deal. Like, they would have their friends over to watch it eat or so, whatever. And now it's just it's so much more accessible. It's so much more common. I think that with information and people being able to just watch and desensitize themselves online before they meet one in person, it has done like this huge benefit for reptiles in general because, granted, there are lots of scare documentaries and 72 most dangerous animals and blah, 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 all that stuff. There's also a lot of people who are posting stuff to be like, hey, look, snakes are not bad. They're not terrible. They don't always bite people and they don't just chase people or, just go after them for no reason. It's, and when people can get both sides of the coin, it leads to better understanding.
That's one of the ones that always makes me crack up when somebody I'm talking to in person tells me about the time that a snake chased them. I'm like, it chased you, huh? Like,
yeah.
There was a lady at our turtle club she was like, yeah, this day. I was like, are you sure it was actually chasing you, or did you just run and then look back and think that it was closer than it was before? Like, I don't know that it actually was actually, with the full definition of the word chase, actually chasing you. Maybe it was going the same direction that you ran. But
yeah,
exactly.
For real.
Exactly.
But when you were talking about how more uncommon it was for keeping when you're a kid, it reminded me of the show and tell session that I had one time in when I was in second grade when I was 7, and there was a kid, I'll never forget him, Joey, in class, and he would, I think because I brought my snake to class one time, for show and tell so people could check it out and everything. And then when it was his turn for show and tell, he told a story about his snake, and he had this one snake at home, and she just laid eggs. And then another show and tell, whenever it was, a couple weeks later or something, he's like, it's crazy because that snake laid eggs, and then now this other snake laid. But then later he told me, don't tell anybody, I don't really have a snake. I was like, whoa, that's
what?
That's I mean, sure, your secret's safe with me, but that's crazy that you just lied to the class about that for show and tell.
I just want to be cool like Kusko.
Oh my god.
I hadn't thought about that. I don't remember the last time I thought about that, but your story, when you're just talking, it popped back in my memory from my memory banks.
Oh man!
See, dude, when I was little, I had tarantulas, so I brought tarantulas in.
Oh man, yeah,
the teachers weren't a fan.
Yeah. I think one of my best memories of like bringing an animal to a class was actually my senior year photos in high school, taking a couple of big carpet pythons into my school for these photos. And one of my really good friends, Dennis, was coming in with his mother. They were doing all the photos in the library. And I pull out this 7.5-foot coastal carpet python and whatever. I'm trying to pose it because I was trying to get snakes onto my trumpet and do this shoot with the two of them. And all of a sudden I just hear, "Woo! Dennis, you should have warned me this mother was bringing snakes. What is happening?" Like in the middle of the library, like any studying ceased. And it's like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand.
Bruh.
That was fun.
That's a good accent. I like that accent. That's one of my favorites. It's like you can't really be pissed off at somebody who's pissed off in that accent. It's like, oh yeah, they're just doing their thing.
They're eccentric.
Yeah. Yep. That was a really fun memory. Other than that, I never brought snakes into class. I brought frogs because I used to be really big into amphibians and stuff. So I remember like in elementary school show and tell, I brought like an eastern spadefoot toad or something.
Dude,
that was cool.
Science class, seventh grade again at or not science class, but the science fair. My science project was just, I went to the creek and caught tadpoles and put them in an aquarium, and then made a little diagram. Had a big piece of green, like stock card paper, whatever, like a huge one, and drew out a little crude 7-year-old drawing of the life cycle of a frog and what happens, and then just so lucky that the day that I brought it in, like we had every life cycle basically inside the aquarium, from
Oh, that's
the eggs and a
perfect.
little bit of algae, some that had tails, some that were start getting their first front leg, some that still had bass legs, some that were actually up and out and little baby toads up on top of the deal.
Heck
And
yeah.
and I won the science fair with it, and like
Hell
as a
yeah.
whole school. And I think it was just because a big part of it, I think, was like people were obviously you didn't have any help here with this drawing. There were plenty of kids that you could tell like the parents did the science project and just gave it to the kid basically. I was like, no, nobody helped you with this. My parents took me to the creek. So
Bruh. See, when I was in, I think it was second or third grade, I brought my tarantulas to the science fair, but they made me promise that I wouldn't take them out. And I was like, they're not dangerous. Like, it's no big deal. Like, I take them out at home all the time. And they're like, you cannot bring them unless you do not take them out. And so I was like heartbroken because I was like, people need to know that tarantulas aren't bad. And so my mom went out and got me plastic tarantulas. And so I sat at the table with the tarantulas in the enclosure, and then I put the plastic ones on my shoulder like it was sitting on me like it was the regular tarantula. And people would look in the tank and then look up at me and they'd be like, oh my God, it's a fake one. It's a fake one.
That.
All right, I thought you were gonna say that you took them out anyway. That's still cool because it still made people think that there was one chilling on you at least for a
They
moment.
told me they would kick me out.
I thought you were gonna do a
damn.
full Nirvana moment. They were like, do not play Rape Me. You're gonna play Smells Like Teen Spirit. Do not play Rape Me at this event. And then I think that's where they wrote it. I don't know if you remember this story, Jeremy, where the intro to Rape Me sounds very much like the intro to Teen Spirit.
Oh,
so
yeah. You got to
I
ride the edge of it,
I thought Rob was going to do that with the tarantula story. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me but
oh, man.
That's okay.
I was too nervous. I was like, I'll just leave him in there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, speaking of freaking people out with fake fake animals, I had so for a while I worked with the University of Massachusetts on a project called Digital Life 3D, and it's basically generating 3D models that can be used in the classroom online using photogrammetry technology, whatever. But the students they had some 3D printers, so they 3D printed some Pac-Man frogs that they had gotten images of, and they had one of the undergrad classes paint some of these to look as close to a Pac-Man frog as possible. And I still have one of those right here, and it looks so real, like an ornatus,
super real,
right? So
can you blow up your screen?
I can actually. Yes, hang on. I think I can. Oh, maybe I can't. I don't know how to. I don't know how.
Of course you can.
There we go. Here, stare at me. Haha. Look at this.
That's awesome.
It's super. It's like really well done. It really does.
There's even a little glint in the eye. You know what I mean? It's got like that.
Yes.
Like, I'm alive shine.
Yeah. So
that's really nice.
So
that's super
they
nice.
So I asked the professor if I could take one of these to I was doing a couple back-to-back reptile shows, and I was like, I'd love to talk to people at the shows about what you guys are doing. So he's like, yeah, here, just take it. So I put this in a 16-ounce deli cup, and I put a little bit of moist paper towel, and the amount of people that were coming and staring like wide-eyed at this Pac-Man frog, and they were like, it's not breathing. And then I'd grab the cup and be like, yeah, I know, and shake it. And be like,
bruh,
what are you doing? I'm like,
I think it's broken. Hold on. Let me fix it. If I shake it just the right way, it wakes back up.
It comes back to life. Why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping, Pac-Man frog?
Oh, no.
The looks on people's faces, they were already like, wow, that thing's insane. And then you do that to them, and they're like, what are you doing? And they're like, wait, it's making it sound like it's not real.
Oh my goodness.
Is the perfect segue to talk about what the hell it was and why a fake frog was on my table. It's like, oh, there's this awesome research work being done at UMass Amherst. That's why I just brought and tricked you with this frog that shouldn't have been shaken, but I was shaking it, so.
Not stirred.
Not stirred. That's right. I like my Pac-Man frog shaken, please.
There's a place in Michigan, and I cannot remember for the life of me what this place is called. I want to say Smithsonian, and that's 100% incorrect. It's like maybe an hour or so from Reptarium.
Oh, okay.
I think they have the largest collection of preserved species, reptile and amphibian and maybe invertebrate, like on the planet.
That's awesome.
Oh, word.
And one of my friends works there, and I want to go. I should reach out to her again because they're kind of limited as far as guests due to COVID-ish, regulations and all that. So I was wanting to go there and document it. It's pretty incredible based on the things. I jumped on one of their Zoom calls one time and just kind of took a little virtual tour, and man, like the amount of species that granted, it's not. You have to be a little bit more nerd-like because it's not like you get to hold alive one of these species or anything. They're preserved,
Right.
but still, like to be able to go and look through and look at all the crazy amount that are there. I need to go at some point. Next time I go to the Reptarium, I'm hoping that it's comboed with the ability to go there too and check that out.
Heck yeah.
Haley Crowell. Shout out Haley Crowell. She's one badass reptile chick, dude.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I just want to give a quick shout out to Jay Hill Jr. Just dropped a super chat. Says, appreciate the Reptile Talk podcast. Remember to hit that like button. That's right. Hit that thumbs up.
You didn't say the last name, dude.
I'm not gonna destroy that. I'm trying to be nice. Damn it, Kusko. I'm trying to be nice.
Kanye
You
and
say
Kehake.
yeah, what? What did you say?
Kanye and Kehake.
Okay.
I probably got it wrong too. I'm saying it like it's a Hawaiian name, and it's probably not because of the. It looks like that. No, all those letters could be Hawaiian, but I think I've spoken with this gentleman, and I think it's actually like a Russian last name or something. Anyway, but I probably said it wrong too, so don't worry about it.
Oh man. Well, while we recover from what just happened,
sorry, that was my fault. I'll take 100% of the blame for that moment.
We're gonna run our ads for our sponsors real quick. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
What? I wasn't told about this.
Black Box Cages, located in Buford, Georgia, is your one-stop shop for all of your caging and rack needs. Owners Jen and Clint are at the helm of this fantastic company. With one of the shortest lead times in cage and rack manufacturing, Black Box can satisfy anyone's needs. From baby racks to V70s, arboreal and terrestrial caging to deep-fronted bioactive enclosures. You can find everything you need right here. New enclosure sizes and products are added frequently to their availability, so be sure to check back often. Black Box Cages have tons of customizing options for lighting and heating. Along with that, cages and racks can be stacked with metal stacking dowels, and all cage joints are dadoed for improved durability and stability. Most cage units are flat packed, but are pre-assembled prior to shipping to ensure a solid build every time. The Micro, XC18, XT3, Bio-G, and 3-stack V70 ship assembled, and all other racks are shipped freight and assembled. The XR16 and XR20 model racks allow keepers to mix and match tubs. Fitting both Vision and Freedom Breeder tubs, you can mix the V15, V18, and V35S tubs, or the FB5, FB8, and FB35CV-SC tubs. This kind of flexibility allows keepers to raise their animals from hatchling to juvenile or subadult size before needing to upgrade into adult caging. Don't just take our word for it. Go to their website to see countless customer reviews and review videos from keepers all over. To learn more about Black Box Cages, follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Black Box Cages, and of course their website, www.blackboxcages.com. Links to their socials and website will be available in the podcast description. The Show Me Reptiles and Exotic shows are taking the country by storm. Dedicated to education, quality, and engagement, you can expect a wonderful experience at a Show Me show, be it an expo or an educational event. Founders Mickey and Tamara are working tirelessly to not only create memorable expos and educational events, but also to engage in conservation efforts and industry preservation. They are proud USARK supporters and do a lot to ensure that they spread the word at every show. Find a Show Me Snakes show near you. Shows are hosted in 19 states, from Rhode Island to Florida, Colorado to Texas. There's sure to be one near you. The Show Me show territory is ever growing, so if there isn't one by you just yet, hang tight. To find out more info about the Show Me shows, to book an educational event, or just to learn more in general, make sure you check out their website, showmesnakes.com. All of the links to their socials and, of course, their website will be available in the podcast description. Boom.
Yeah, dude, satisfy my needs with a snake in a black box.
That's right.
Tell you what.
That's
Show me.
right. So massive shout out to our show sponsors, Black Box Cages and Show Me Snakes, the Show Me Snakes shows. Black Box is here chilling in the chat. Shout out to Jen and Clint. Their lead time is 2 weeks to get your enclosures. Unless you're Justin Smith and you want tubs for everything that you ordered, then you wait. You wait until those tubs arrive, you jerk.
And you'd be happy about it.
And you'll be happy about the lead times.
I've not been to a Show Me show yet, but I would really like to go.
Oh yeah, you got to go, man.
Nice. Honestly,
yeah, it's awesome. And Mickey and Tamara are wonderful. You know, they really make sure that their vendors are taken care of, which I certainly appreciate.
That's good stuff. Ooh, shout out Girl with Scales too. I saw that some of her footage there.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
hell yeah.
Hey, that's right. They are here in the chat. Sorry, I just got distracted by the chat. Things moved and it spooked me.
I'm gonna get distracted.
You want to get distracted?
Oh
Tubbs,
yeah. Hey, you know, look who else is here. Rob is creeping reels in the chat.
Rob is creeping it real. He just clapped. He just clapped in the chat. Are you clapping back, sir?
No, he's praying to get his snake in a black box. Come on.
It's true.
Hey, dude, today I went field herping.
I saw you
little bit.
finding more marbled salamanders.
We found 3 marbled salamanders,
Yes.
1 slimy salamander, and 1 worm snake.
Hey, a worm snake? That's badass. Hell yeah, dude.
Worm snakes are sweet, dude. I remember the time I found one in Hawaii. I mean, they call them the Hawaiian blind snake over there, but oh wait, are you talking about a snake that eats worms or that looks like a worm?
Looks like a worm.
Probably eats worms too.
Probably.
Its whole existence is worm based.
Yeah.
Dude, we were out hiking the other day and my son saw a lizard, and so we're, a little bluebell, a little western fence, and we were kind of chasing it down, and it ran into this hole on the side of the little walkway path. It just went boop in the little hole. I was like, oh, I see where it went. Let's get my finger in there, and like sticking my finger in, and then this snake pops its head out of the hole that the lizard ran into, and popped out like, what's going on out here? Who's in my house? What's it? And I was like, what is that? I pulled it out. I got a picture of it, so I'll have to show it to you guys after the show. I still haven't figured out exactly what type of snake it was. I'd never seen one before or after. It looked like, I imagined it was like a baby gopher that hadn't got its pattern yet, which is probably not the case. I don't know. I have to dig back. I'll find it. I'll show it to you guys. Tell me what you think. Oh, hey, we all got pulled from the Matrix.
I'm excited. I'm like,
we all got pulled. I know. It was super exciting. Just like the way it came out was like, who's this? It was just funny. Like I'd never seen a snake annoyed before or after. Like this is that's visibly annoyed.
That is probably the best personification of any Pituophis species. Hey, what are you doing? Why are you? Get out of here! What are you doing?
Yeah, the pit I found in Arizona was very annoyed. Very annoyed. But Brian, I love seeing all the videos or the stories that you post when you're field herping with your kids. Like I seriously, whenever I see that, I'm like, yes, I need to watch this whole thing. Like you guys are out there catching what was it the newts you guys got down over there?
Yeah, the rough skin newts or the
Ooh,
California newts. Yeah.
oh, it's so cool.
Those things are sweet, dude. They're just so approachable. I guess because they're so poisonous, they don't like their level of
They
fear
don't
is
care. They're
is
like
subdued.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like I'm
go
just
ahead.
out here taking
Go
my
ahead.
time in the wide open, just crawling across this little grassy spot. I'll get there when I get there. What's this? A human? Oh, whatever. Yeah.
That is the carefree level that I strive for in life.
There's times when like especially when the stream gets going because it's a very seasonal creek, and when the stream's going, like sometimes you can just find them in droves. You just have like handfuls of newt just like literally like come
Oh,
up your
damn.
fingers like.
That's
I'd
actually
freak
pretty
out.
epic.
I'd be so excited.
Yeah, that's pretty epic.
Well, whenever you come out here, we will go and we will find them. And we'll get
Yes,
you to have
I need
your
to
own
coordinate because I
fistfuls.
want to do
Peak
a couple of the
droves.
California shows.
You should do that. So you should make it work to where you can do that and have time to come up here, see us. We'll go a little further north. We'll go herping with Mr. Gundy. That's
Yes.
it's really the ultimate.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to talk about like the most zen herping experience possible, you just go out with Brian Gundy, and it's just like it's the best. I mean, the dude. The first time I saw him dive headfirst into a bush of poison oak after an alligator lizard, I was like, "This guy."
I
He
vibe with
gets
him,
it.
you know.
He gets it. So I'm pretty sure this is Justin that has jumped into the chat. I'd rather gouge my eyes out than doing holes in tubs myself, and that's
I
why.
mean, to be fair, it's
Yes.
a similar process.
Yes, that's true. But this is why your
Soldering
lead
iron,
time
don't
is
drill.
past 2 weeks.
Dude,
don't
one of
be
the best
surprised when
things
there's
I've seen is the people who set up they buy like 4 soldering irons or 5 soldering irons and like make a plate where they fit into it, and then you just take the tub and just press the tub into it.
Oh, that's
Makes all the holes even.
that's fancy.
Not a shim. I was gonna call it a shim. A stencil. There's a better word for it. Man, me and English suck.
It's okay. It's okay. Justin,
It's not my native language.
all I'm gonna say is don't be surprised when there's giant Reptile Talk stickers on all the fronts of everything that you're getting from Black Box. I might run a little rampant in there. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. It's gonna be the Reptile Talk podcast line of racks from Black Box that make their way to you.
Is this Pod Wars? Are we on Pod Wars now?
Hey, you're not supposed to be. Well, you are supposed to be okay with it because it's most likely going to happen. But you're not supposed to say that.
He's like, we're gonna fight, bro.
Yeah. Oh man. So Brian, on your escapades,
I think it's a jig.
what?
I hate when I can't think of a word. I think it's a jig. Biscuit. There are a lot of jokes out here right now.
Oh, they have to have Rob's face. We gotta get Rob's face. We're gonna get that
face right there.
That face, yeah.
Not just
Rob.
Rob's, but that Rob's face.
I need somebody to screen grab that and send it to Adeline and just be like, listen, please do this one thing for us.
No.
I mean, the face is there now. It's on the internet. All you have to do is grab it. And
That's
make it
true.
happen.
That's true.
Oh,
that
boy.
could happen. Oh my gosh.
It's not the first time my face has got me into trouble, so
It's not going to be the last.
probably not.
No. You got a long way to go, buddy. Long road ahead.
Oh man.
Sorry
So Brian,
about the helicopter. They're probably looking for somebody who escaped from the state mental hospital. That's usually what that helicopter means. Children stay in the house, but
SpaghettiOs.
Oh boy. Oof.
it's
So-
generally a peaceful place. Every now and then we have an escapee from the mental hospital, but
I mean, if they got a helicopter for
yeah,
for
it's where they
reconnaissance.
filmed Terminator 2 when what's her face is in the mental hospital.
Really?
That,
Oh, really?
Yeah, that place right there, it's down the street.
Damn.
That's cool.
That's wild.
Yeah, sure, it's great. I always sleep soundly.
Oh my
So
god.
I know you've been wanting to ask me a question. I
No,
keep
you're-
bringing up
you're
random words and
You're good.
helicopters, looking for mental patients. It's just,
I'm here for the laughs. Fuck what I was about to say.
good. Well, I bet you if you ask another question, chances are.
Oh man. So I was going to ask, when you do go out field herping or anything, do you have a target species? Like on your next escapade, do you have a species that you'd really like to find?
Generally, yes. I do have a target species. Although I say that any day where a snake, no matter the species, comes along, then that's a gold star day, regardless of, even if it's a gopher snake that I've seen so many of them around here. That's still gold star day. So snake is always the general target species. Like, found a lizard, oh cool, found a frog, found this, found that, but no snake yet.
Same though.
One day, yeah. I don't know. It's always been that way. Just like something about no matter where we've been herping, which has been a nice wide range. Like 6-7 foot water monitors on the golf course in Indonesia. Awesome, but it's not a snake. And that's generally how my heart feels about it. There was one time we went herping in Utah with Clinton, Dave, and Garrett, and I found one snake, and I wasn't able to get hands on it, and they still continue. This was like 2 years ago now, I think. They still continue to remind me of that time that we could have seen a snake, and yet I let it get away. And I was so sad. I shaved myself in my own video at the end of the video. How disappointed I was in myself for not getting that snake for everybody, and that wasn't enough for them though. They just we have a group text that's been going for however many a couple years or whatever, and still somebody will be like, anytime there's a reference to a snake being found, like, oh, but don't let Brian try and get it.
That's kind of what happened when I went out with those guys I went to Utah with. Me and Justin Julander were literally talking about, okay, if we see a coach whip in this area or a racer in this area.
It was a coach whip. It was
Yep.
a coach whip.
Yep. We were like, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. We got to get a picture of it where it's sitting, and then before it sees us, and then you're going to go this way. I'm going to go that way. Don't let it get to the tree. What happens? Boom, right into the tree, up, down, into the hole. I was like, oh!
That was my mistake. Everybody was so spread out in this big wash out in the desert, and these guys were, the closest person might have been a quarter mile away, and I just yelled top of my lungs, snake, because we've been skunked for a good part of the day. And I watched where it went. I was like, perfect. It's just right under that log. But I mean, there was several inches of leaf litter, and it was just, by the time those guys got there, because I wanted to wait. I was like, that was my mistake. I should have just dove right in and done a Gundy. But instead I was like, I'm gonna wait, be smart, quote unquote, and wait for somebody else to get to the other side of the log so that we can get it. But,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
They're crafty. They're so crafty.
Yeah, and quick. It was a cool, really bright orange one too, this bright salmon pink orange color.
Damn.
Just gorgeous. Oh, so cool looking and very fast. Yeah, but next time I go out, I think I'm gonna go out to the bluffs here with some guys, maybe some of the guys that just came over for that clutch pulling the other night, and see if we can find some Northern Pacifics out there, because it's a beautiful spot. We made some videos about that spot before. It's just I would not have expected to find them there. I went out with who I was mentioning before, the girl Haley Crowell, who works now in Michigan at that place. She was a grad student at Cal Poly at the time, and she does a lot of rattlesnake research, a lot of stuff with that. So she was actually out there with World War II equipment, like tracking, like boop, 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 and like locating snakes that they were releasing some and finding some, checking on some they had released.
Yeah.
But it's like this gorgeous, I mean, it looks like Hawaii, like just these bluffs and beautiful ocean cliffs, and then sitting right there in that picturesque, beautiful sunset shot, rattlesnake right on the edge of the cliff.
Damn.
So
That's
cool.
Epic.
It's a cool spot.
Okay, so this comment was dropped in there, and I feel like we have to ask this question to Brian.
Oh yeah, feel free.
What about the time Brian let the snake crawl up his pants?
So he's got the species wrong. The memory is somewhat correct. It was, I mean, I'm trying to search the memory banks. Maybe he's thinking about something that I'm not thinking about, because I'm sure there's at least a couple times I let a snake crawl up my pants. Don't get any ideas, Jeremy.
Hey, I'm just here.
But the time I think he's talking about is that same day on that same trip with Clinton, Dave, and Garrett, and I was basically crouched on top of this tiger lizard, and it went up my pants. I had a huge hole in my pants per usual, and Clint had to. There was a lot going on. It's all on video, thankfully. Like there's certainly some parts I blocked from my memory. I was like, these guys surrounding me while I'm in a very vulnerable position with a large hole in my pants and a lizard that they all basically chased into the hole.
Oh man. Oh.
Because that's how hard up we were to find something, because it was very hot and dry, and we were like literally getting skunked. And it's like, a lizard! We've got to get it!
We got to get it! Yeah.
Whatever
Dude,
it
when I
takes,
was like
take over the
22,
team. Open up the hole in your pants. Let it in.
No.
Oh man.
Dude, when I was like 22, I had a party, and one of my friends wanted to see one of my blood pythons, and they asked to take out this one that was like not particularly too friendly. And so like I hook it out, and the thing flopped out onto the floor, and then it like got tangled around my feet. So I'm trying to just stand still, and it went right up my pant leg. And the thing is like this big around, so it's like just barely thick enough to fit in my pants. And it goes like up and then turns around. And I have a picture of me laying on the floor with this blood python like coming out the bottom of my pant leg. And I'm just like, man, I really hope it doesn't bite me right now. This is not a good spot. This is not a good spot.
Oh man.
I was
Rob,
trying to
I don't
imagine
know.
a blood python tangled up in anything. They could barely make a full circle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Rob, I don't know if I told you a couple weeks ago trying to move that white wall ocelot out of the female's enclosure, that one always friendly one that came from Megano. So usually he's the only short tail I feel like I ever have to hook, because I can't get my hand.
Seven peppers.
No, 7 peppers is easier. Like I can get 7 peppers and hold him and move him, and then he loses it. This one is like I touch him and like it's game over, and he's already upset. So I hooked him, and I've got his back end, and I lift him up. As soon as I like applied that pressure to lift up, lost his mind, leaped off of the hook out of my hand, bit my forearm in midair, and is holding on as his body comes down. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like a good, 8-pound, maybe or so short tail, just like right there, right on the meat of the forearm and down. And I went right down to my knees. It was like, this sucks. Like, holy crap. That was not enjoyable to have literally a meat missile come out and grab me and then fall. Not pleasant.
This guy with the down on the knees and the sucking and the meat missiles.
Hey, I said nothing about sucking.
Yes, you did. You said this sucks. You literally said
this
sucks.
In the worst way, Brian. In the worst way.
I really like Dan Magano, man. He's a cool cat. I hope he's doing okay over there.
He's he's cranky as usual. Cranky Dan.
Yeah.
Oh man. Good times
Dude.
though. It's good times. It's
I'm
healed.
lucky. Since I moved, I haven't been bit. Like
Now you've jinxed it.
I
hope
did.
you know.
Because
It's
tomorrow
happening now.
I'm going field herping all day.
Oh yeah, you're getting bit, bro.
I know.
You're getting bit. And it's gonna be by like the most annoying garter snake ever.
As long as it's not a copperhead, we're cool.
True. Yeah, that is literally the last message I ever want to receive from you. Winfield
Yeah, I've
herping,
been envenomated by
been
something.
envenomated by X species. Can't do podcasts.
Oh, what
If
happened?
it's a copperhead, it's whatever. If it's anything else,
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out if I can flip my camera around. All these chickens going to town on my wife's kale plant up there, and like I want to tell them to stop, but like at the
Yeah.
same time, I
Hey,
feel like,
listen. I don't know how many live streams I've watched or videos I've watched with Kevin screaming at his chickens while he's in frame. So I mean, you could just pull a page out of that book.
I just don't feel like they're gonna listen. Hey!
Oh, that just made the whole episode. Now, if you go start chasing chickens, if we're chasing chickens now, this is
Get out of the kale plant, you freaking donkeys! Come on, you're supposed to be T-Rex, not vegetarian. Goodness gracious!
making chicken nuggets tonight,
out.
baby.
Out! Out! God,
this is gold.
dude. Well, I feel bad just sitting there watching it happen while she's at work. It's like, by the way, the chickens destroyed your kale. I watched it happen.
I watched it happen. Oh, better luck next time.
Bruh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're rounding out our hour mark. But you know the drill. Before we let you go, Brian, we always have to ask our guests that one final question.
Oh, is that true?
Question. It is true. It is still true. So that question, sir, what in the round? Oh, the chicken retaliated.
Sorry, that's why I got a dog now.
There you go. Look at the cute face. Okay. What in the realm of reptiles, be it something you're seeing online, something you've got happening in your own collection, or whatever, what in the realm of reptiles has you excited about reptiles? He's frozen in shock.
What are you guys calling me right now from the computer? Sorry. I don't know if I can hear you guys anymore.
Can you not hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can? I don't think I can hear you. This is freaking ridiculous. Let me go into the settings real quick. Audio.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh man.
Somebody just tried to call me, and now I can't
Ruined.
hear you guys.
Ruined.
It's ruined. It's all ruined.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know why I can't hear you guys. And you guys can hear me. That doesn't make any sense. Let me see what happens if I do this. Can I leave and come back? Is that possible?
You can.
It is?
You
I'm
can.
gonna do that. I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to come back.
Damn.
So,
Kusko,
Jeremy, what's got you excited about reptiles right now?
I'm excited that I finally got some ovulations happening. It feels like this year's been a little later than most, and I'm thinking honestly it's just because of this move. You know, I've had everything in New England for years. You know, so that seasonal change has been very active, and we didn't really have a crazy winter, which I'm grateful for, obviously. But I think everything's just kind of got to settle into that. So, yeah, I don't know, but I'm finally excited that I've got some ovulations happening, some ball pythons, Borneo shorttail, the one female that is gravid because the other one fooled me with the biggest poo I have ever seen. That one super striped posset ocelot is due to lay in 2 weeks, and I'm pretty stoked about that.
Boom!
Look at he is back. Can he hear us? Can you hear us?
It worked.
Sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, look at that.
It was just horrible timing. Somebody calling me, and it said it was from it said it was my wife's computer calling. They claim My kids in there claim they didn't do it. I don't know what's happening.
Damn.
Excited?
Yeah, what's got you excited, bro?
I mean, if we're talking about, I got pretty excited about Megan Kelly hatching out. God, I always ruin it for myself. But the first time I was ever on a reptile podcast, I said indigo python 3 times, and I still think about it to this day. Where I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I say indigo python? I know it's not a python. Why did I say it 3 times in a row? And why didn't they stop me? Why did they say, what are you talking about, bro? What do you mean indigo python? Are you an idiot? Nobody said anything. They knew damn well I was messing up. They didn't stop me. So anyway, she didn't hatch
so
out
it's on
anacondas.
Yes, 100% though.
But those T positive anacondas that popped up.
Hell yeah.
Then the pied that's in Justin's with the blood python, the pied blood python that's there today. But those are awesome. And I'm super excited about those. I love morphs in snakes. Snake morphs are one of the big things I get really excited about. But the thing that I'm most excited about is when the news is going to break that this amendment has been pulled from the America Competes Act. And at that moment, that's what I'm most excited about for right now. That when that announcement drops, like I know it's gonna, that's the moment that I'm excited about. That right there. I'm gonna have my own little party over here. Also, I'm very thankful for you guys to having me because I was honestly in a little bit of a slump today, and now I feel great. And so,
hell yeah, dude.
It's gonna be a big party when that news drops. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where it's at, man.
That's it. That's what it is.
All right, Brian. If people want to find out more about you and the things that you're doing, where should they follow you?
Well, you could easily find out more about me, all the things you never wanted to know, all the things you might want to know. Brian Kusko, just look up my name on basically any of the social platforms, whether it's YouTube or Instagram. Just search my name and it'll pop up. You'll find out everything you need to go. I mean, just plug it into Google and find out all about me.
Bum, bum, bum.
There's gonna be somebody that Googles. There's gonna be somebody that Googles your name now, and there's.
It's happened already.
Oh,
I've had many people tell me, "Hey, I googled your name and."
There's a couple sketchy websites that came up first.
I've pushed most of it down with reptile content, thankfully.
That was the goal. Okay, it makes sense now.
Right now we understand. It's shamed. It's not a love for snakes.
No, can't stand them. God, those slimy bastards.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, dude. Well, I'm so happy that we got this time to hang out and catch up and just chat, man. It's been a little while. So.
It has been a little while, and you guys need to come out here and see me. I'm just gonna put that.
Yes,
I agree. I'm supposed to be coming to California sometime in April. I'm just waiting to confirm dates. So maybe we could make something go down.
Just let me know, man. You come out here to see me, you won't just see me, I promise. So you won't be disappointed.
What if I only want to see you?
Well, we can make that happen too.
Okay. Oh man. Heck yeah. All right, dude. Thank you again for joining us. We definitely
thank you so much,
it.
man.
And
thank you guys for having me, man.
Go follow this guy if you don't already. I think everybody here already does, but if you don't, shame on you. Go follow him.
Oh no more shaming. I'm done with the shaming.
Yeah.
If you don't want to follow me, just don't.
No, you got to do it. Now you have to, because he said don't. So that means you have to. Oh, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for jumping in on the chat. Everybody, I've been seeing all the chats come through. We'll see you guys next week. Boom.
Love you guys. Peace.